So what do I do with all of the junk like this that I get in bundle prices? Here's what I do. Hey, it's Rhonda and I'm back with another Why Did I Buy? This time it's a little bit different. You know how I've said in my other videos that I'm a big trash dasher. That's the term that I use for going and finding roadside items, project pieces, boxes of junk that I can look through, garbage bags, and so forth. I do that as I go along. I don't make a trip out anymore. I used to go pretty much every day. I knew what the garbage run was and all of that kind of stuff. Well, a lot of times you'll get a box and it'll be maybe 10, 15 items even in there that you can use, and you can just clean up a little bit and you can resell on eBay or Etsy or something like that along those lines. But pretty often there, and also at yard sales, estate sales, when I buy just a box of stuff, I'll see 2 or 3 items in there that I want to buy, but the rest of it I'm not really sure about until I get home. In the beginning, if something was broken or something was little pieces of things that I really, wasn't that interested in, or I didn't think was going to earn me a lot of money online and to warrant my time on listing those, I would usually just toss those. But I've gotten to where I don't do that anymore. I keep little bins, like shoebox size bins, on a shelf next to my work area here, and I don't know, I might can show it to you. Let's see, some along these lines, and I've got them marked figurines or whatever, or some of them are just marked with words junk drawer. And I sell a lot of junk drawer lots, and those are items that are kind of too good to throw away but not good enough to list on their own, and so I will throw those into a junk drawer lot. And so those are going to be things that I got. Some of these jewelry trays. This one's kind of rough. I've got one that looks a little bit better that I do my photos in, but on the junk drawers it doesn't really matter, because you can take something like this, you could take a cookie sheet or something along those lines, and what I'll do is I'll fill this up with items and I'll kind of lay it all out in there in a collage fashion. And what I do is I make up junk drawer lots, and then I number these in any of my Ziplocs, and then when I put those inside my banker boxes, I put them in order, like lot number 10 is what this one is. Well, what I do is I lay this all out inside of the little drawer, and I call that my junk drawer lot. And these are going to be little odds and ends things. You'd be surprised. I had a thrift store for about 4 years, almost 5 years or whatever, and it was where I would buy things from estate sales. People would bring things to me, boxes of things, and I'd buy them for a couple of bucks or something like that. And I would do the same thing that I'm doing now, except on a different kind of scale. I would take those things and I would price the things or sell the things outright as a standalone item, but then I would have other things that I would just kind of throw in bags over there, and people would just buy bags of things. There's something fascinating to a reseller and a thrifter and a junker about bags. When you go into a thrift store, if they've got hanging bags up there, that's one of the first places that we want to look, because we figure that there's a treasure in there that somebody didn't know about back in the back when they were preparing the boxes and bags. So I would set these aside, and I had a lot of artists. I live outside the Memphis area in Tennessee. I'm actually in Mississippi. I'm just over the line. And we have a lot of local artists that would come in to my shop, and others like mine, and they would buy these bits and pieces of things. So we got to where we would kind of save those for them, and we'd put them all over, and we'd let them just make up their own bag, and I'd weigh it up, and I'd just sell it by the pound a lot of times. If it was something in there like a big chunk of wood or something like that, I might would just add a little bit more for that and not really do it by the pound. Well, that kind of translated into what I do here. I can't see getting rid of some things. I'll keep them for a while, and then I will get rid of them, or just give them away or something like that. I'll put it on Marketplace and say free, or put it on freebie alerts. and people can come and get those free. Next door is another way that I get rid of those. I put them on the porch and people can just come and pick the bags up. I just tell them you have to take the whole bag. You don't want to come through it. But like this number 10, I'll show you just kind of an example of some things that I do. Like this, I don't have I think it was cards that was in this. I need my readers again. I need to get some new eyeballs, I think. I think it had exchange cards or something in here. I don't know. But this is 1985. But it was just the box that was down in there. It didn't have the item that was originally in here. And this has such a good graphic and kind of a cool look and stuff like that. You just never know what somebody might use. They might want to make a multimedia type, you know, thing for a weight loss center or something like that, and put something along those lines. Little things like this. Now, some of these will sell, but this was just an odd one that I had in there, and so I just threw it in there. Sometimes you want to do what I call salting the box, like salt and pepper. You want to salt it with little things like this that draw people's attention, and you want to have that pretty prominent. You want to have it probably in the middle of your box so that they can see that in the main picture. There's pretty often, too, that in my eBay listings, and this is just kind of an aside, I do the main picture is usually a collage. Not always, but usually a collage. It'll have a picture of this, and it'll have a picture of, you know, maybe this item in there. See, this is one. This is broken. It's got some missing animals here. But see, somebody might want to put other little animals on there. You never know, you know, or they might want to just cover up this area and have this poking out at the top of something else, you know, and then you got your little angel and things like that. So all of these things are in number 10. I put handmade. This is like for a Kleenex holder, like you put the individual Kleenex packs in there. Well, little old ladies like to make things like this, you know, and give them away, and then nobody wants to buy them, you know, on an individual basis or even in a set of these or anything. But they might want to use this for something else, and so I throw things like that in there. I've got cards, you know, little pieces of cards and stickers, things that have texture when you look at them, you know, things that are along the lines of, I'm sorry about the lighting, along the lines of this. This is like, what does it say? Mississippi Gulf Coast. It was probably mounted on the top of something somewhere, you know, and it popped off and popped in here. Playing cards. How many times do you find boxes of playing cards in, you know, the free box or something like that, and then you can just do this? I just take those packs, and if it doesn't have the whole pack, you know, to where it would sell for more, if I sold like the rook cards or something like that, then I'll take these and I'll just throw a few in there and just kind of make it to where it looks interesting, you know, something that somebody might be interested in. Odds and ends cards like this, the little trading or collector cards, put those in there. If I have something like this, he's missing a tusk. I could have repaired this. I probably could have put a toothpick in there, but why? You know, I might as well just put it in there, and this would be something that would salt this box. It'd be something that somebody would be looking at because that's a little hand-carved piece. I put pieces like this. They just took charms and glued it to the top of some of the little decorative rocks like you get, you know, at the dollar store or something like that, and I throw little things in there like that. Something I commonly find, now I'll usually sell the little people. This one is an off-brand, but I throw that in there. I thought, you know, I had the angel, I had the nativity, I'll throw the sheep in there, you know. Different size, but still. Odds and ends spoons, things like this. This is actually a baby spoon, and it's one that matched my utensils that I had, you know, when I was first married. Not that particular one, but it was one like that. Hair accessories, you know, little bits and pieces of things like that. Little keychains, party animal. Pieces that have popped off of a an ornament. See, that's a little sled. But when people make dioramas, if you know what a diorama is, it's a scene, but it's in miniature. When they make things like that, it doesn't matter that something is missing off of the back because it's going to be glued onto something and have snow around it or something like that. A lot of the people that buy things like this, they buy the particular ones. If I kind of think about a theme, if it's somebody that does like they're train people, they like the miniature trains, the HO scale and stuff like that. Well, they like to create that scenery for those trains to go through, and these are things that they commonly will buy, and then they'll just toss the rest of it. I'll let them do the tossing instead of me. He's missing his hand, but he might be something that would be interesting. They might find like some type of little lantern that they can hang off of here and nobody would even notice that in a train set, or like a Christmas village or something like that. Something that I commonly throw in there are these. When I buy things on Amazon, my daughter is a Prime member. I'm not a Prime member. Sometimes I do that for a while or whatever, but I don't buy enough like that. I buy a lot of recycled things, and I just don't need a whole lot, being a single person like I am. But occasionally, if I go on Amazon and I get within, say, $1, which this is like $1.19, there's a pack of 3 of these, I think, that's on Amazon. And if I get within that $1 so that it makes it worth my while to buy these, to get up over it to where I've got free shipping, then I'll throw something like this on. I'll look for the cheapest product that's on Amazon that is non-perishable, and unless it's something that I need, obviously. But I'll throw these in here, and people use them for all different things. They use them for bases, to put things in, to stand it up in some of these scenes like I was talking about. They actually use them for outlet covers or whatever. And so I do something like that, and that $1.19 puts me up over, the amount that I need so that I can get the free shipping. And in the long run, it ends up, being better for me to do something like that. So these are the type of things that I've got in that one. Then I've got one other one down here. Let me preload this because somebody will be looking for it. This one's already listed. I don't want to lose anything. It's funny how people, when you start training yourself to kind of look at what can I do with something? How can I repurpose something? How can I do that? Or just because it doesn't mean anything to me, or it's not something that I would repurpose, that doesn't mean that somebody else wouldn't. Another way that you can store these, I store them over here just because it's convenient, and what I do is I just make up several bags. Like I had my granddaughter over here, and she was taking pictures of some of the ephemera lots that I do the same way. I cut things up and I put little bits and pieces of things in there. And so I had her arranging those because she's very artsy and she likes to do things like that. And I had her taking those photos. She was working for me one day and I had her taking photos. And so she just came over here and she just got a couple of bins and she just started laying things out and things like that. Another way that you can store those is some of the stacking drawers. You see those all the time, all the time on the side of the road. And I believe his name is James. I'm not sure. I watch his videos, but my boring reseller life, you can see when he shows you his area that he stores things in, he buys a lot of the shell that the drawers go in, just the outside of it. He'll buy the skeleton piece and he'll put them aside until he can find drawers on the side of the road to fit all of that. And that's how he stores a lot of his inventory. Well, that'd be super for something like this. You just pull the drawer out and you just use it, or whatever, and pull things out of it and you can just throw them in there. You can do it, if you want to do all figures or all dolls or doll pieces or something like that, or all metal or all wood or something like that. You can divide it that far, but I usually don't because people want all different things. Now, if I see a grouping of, say, bronze looking cheap metal or something like that, and I've got a big box of it or something, I might do one junk drawer lot or two junk drawer lots with just those in it, or cookie cutters or something along those lines. But normally it's going to be very mixed up. It's not going to make any sense. Now, on occasion, I do themed ones. I'll do all Christmas stuff, or I'll do all a boy type lot. And those are the keywords that I'm going to use when I get ready to list something like that. I'm going to make sure that people are looking for certain things, or if there's a certain item in there that it's like vintage patch, I'll put that right in the title, vintage patch, and whatever like that, so that anybody that's looking for something like that, you never know, they might want that particular vintage patch. That might be one that mama threw out their baseball cap and they love that patch that was on that baseball cap and they wish they had it again, and there it is in the middle of my junk drawer. So you never know. You have to, again, like I've said before, you have to teach people how to treat you. And so you teach them how to be a good customer to you, and you do that by giving them ideas. Not everyone has ideas about how they can reuse something or what they can do with it, so you have to give them the ideas either in your description, your title, or both. Sometimes it's even good to put a video in your listing, and you can do like a little shot of something like this, do a little short or whatever, and just say, this is what I would use this for. They didn't say that you can't do it. They said that you could put videos in your listings, so I would use those. On some of the Etsy listings, you can also put videos in there, not just on eBay. This is a different lot. And like, see, he's broken on the top, but somebody could do something else. They could put a little hat on him or something. Collector spoons. On occasion I have those. I always check them, make sure they're not sterling. Little wooden dolls. Some of them are better lots than others. Some of them are more broken up. Little pair of wings. Who knows? Somebody might use that on something. You might even put it on this little guy, Now, this one's an old lighter that doesn't work. Oh, it does work. Cool. Well, I'll probably redo this one then. I think I had my granddaughter helping me on that day. That's going to be something that has to ship ground, and of course these are not going to ship ground. I'm going to usually send them, they're going to usually be, I try to keep them a pound or under so that I can do that, so I'll probably redo this lot and just put a different piece in there instead of that. Same thing on the matches. She didn't know, so that's going to be something that I do need to watch. In the event that kind of slid through and I didn't know it, I would just eat the cost of the shipping on something like that, because I would notice that was in there. That's how you train them, though. That's how they know. She's 14 and she's still learning. Little bells. I've talked about in other videos some different things like, let's see if I can find it, little gift bags. Patches that are beyond their look. Now, I've sold a couple of these that looked a little bit better than this. It's hard to tell on camera probably, but it's extremely stained. And so that's going to be something that I'm just going to slop the box with on this. I tear out, like this is bridge score sheets. Tear out things like that. Bunko sheets. Anything like that. Yahtzee pieces, Yahtzee type things. I don't even know what those are. I'll have to look at them. Make sure they don't light up, right? Old recipe cards. Well, that's what that reminded me of. This is actually the Seal It. This is one that was open. I sold some of these that were closed, but these, it had laminating sheets in here at one time. But see, something like that, the graphic is so good on it, people use it for all kinds of stuff. You just can't disregard what they might use. I find a lot of these needle kits, and I do sell these needle kits. Let's see if I can do this without hurting myself. I do sell these needle kits, but if they're incomplete like this, I'll throw them in a junk drawer a lot, because I don't go to the trouble to replace things that are in here. But it's got like the curved needle and stuff, and you never know, somebody might want something like that. So why do I buy boxes that I take 2 or 3 items out of and then don't know what to do with the rest of it? Well, it's because I do. This is why.